Stirring the coffee with chopsticks using the vortex method, the only true way to optimize the taste of your coffee at the molecular level. Good morning. Welcome to the Daybreak Show. I am the Sultan. We'll get started, but first, coffee. Nice. Black Rifle coffee from Anthony Ballas. Hey, it's good to be back in front of the rooster again. Had a rough week last week, but I lived to tell about it. The quick story is this. 1 week ago, on a Monday morning, right now, last week I woke up at 3 o'clock. I woke up at 3 o'clock this morning, feeling great, strong, took a scooter ride. The usual. Last week I woke up at 3 o'clock with a stomach ache. Kind of rare. I'm not an achy kind of person. By 4 o'clock, it was by 3 o'clock, it was a 3 pain level, just like, ooh, I need to take something. By 4 o'clock, it was a 5 or a 6, which makes you fidgety. It's the kind of pain that you need medication. You don't just suck up that kind of pain. I got nauseous, went to the bathroom, vomited, went through sweats, chills in a very short period of time. I thought to myself, this is this is not normal. This is not something that's going to go away. Now remember, I have to be at work at 7 a.m. Son of a gun, if by 4:30 I wasn't going towards a 10 as far as pain level is concerned, I grabbed my keys. I was wearing just shorts, a shirt, and sneakers. Not unlike what I'm wearing now. And I said, that's it. I have to go to the hospital. And I drove myself at about 4:45 to the emergency room, parked the truck, went in, hunched over in pain. By 5 o'clock, I was at a full-blown 10, begging for relief. It was pretty bad. They gave me morphine, which takes the edge off, obviously, and helps you at least communicate. Blood pressure through the roof because of trauma, pain. Sugar, ridiculously high. They check everything when they do your vitals. It was rough. At that moment, they started different procedures because they weren't sure what was happening to my body, and it was obvious that something was happening. And so they put a NG tube in, which means a tube going in your nose down into your stomach, which I've never had done before. That's a weird feeling. It's a good thing I had COVID test in the past, because I've never had anything go in the nose all the way and then go beyond your nose, down your throat, into your stomach. And they hooked it up to a suction and started sucking out like any acid or blood or whatever. And they thought that they gave me a CAT scan with contrast and then admitted me into the hospital. So I'd say by noon I was upstairs on the 3rd floor, admitted as a patient. And then the tests began. For 3 days I didn't have drink or food, nothing. Wasn't allowed to have anything like that. And getting poked and prodded every hour for 5 days. I was in for a week. Horrible sleep, because they got to they come in and get your vitals, check everything. They were pricking my finger. Sugar was through the roof, giving me insulin in my belly, just trying to make everything normal, bring me back to normal. After 3 days of not eating, which I did not mind because I fast already, so going 3 days without food is nothing. And then the last 2 days were trying to bring me up, bring my strength back. And it was weird. It was weird. Unexpected. I'm a healthy guy. I'm a strong guy. I'm a fast guy. And this happened. Long story short, it's a freak thing. There was an intestinal blockage. And then I had to drink some contrasting fluid and get more CAT scans, the whole thing. And the hospital was pretty good. They were good. People were very attentive. Nurses were really good. Yeah. And the issue was dealt with. It's funny, when natural functions become the goal, are you passing gas or having a bowel movement? Which everybody passes gas and everybody has bowel movements almost every day, right? When you don't have those things, there's a problem. It's like peeing. Peeing is as natural as breathing. But if you can't pee, so the goal of the medical staff assigned to me was to get everything functioning again. Keep my heart going. Now, I wasn't close to death, I don't think. I don't know what they were saying in their private meetings when they were discussing the cases on the floor. But it was rough. It was rough. I got discharged late Friday afternoon, recovered on Saturday and Sunday, and I'm back in front of the rooster. And I like it. It's where I want to be. I go back to work today. I'm excited about that. So that's cool. It's all good. Had a lot of time to think. But it wasn't creative time because I was in pain most of the time. Thank God for morphine. And if it wasn't for that, the proper use of morphine, I should say. This was not a fun week off. There was a lot of pain. On my part, there was a lot of deep breathing. I didn't turn on the lights in the hospital room. I just kept natural light in, so I allowed the sunrise and the daily sun to wake me up. I allowed the sunset to help me go to sleep. Every time somebody came in the room, they would say, would you like the door open or closed? And I would say I would like it closed. I didn't turn on the TV once in the hospital room. Listened to some podcasts. Did not even have books with me. That's how much of an emergency situation this was. So it was a week to take care of the body. But it wasn't like I was at a spa. So the Sultan is back. And thank you for hanging in there. Thank you for those that prayed. Thank you for those that were thinking good thoughts. I do appreciate that. But let's get started here. I have a lot to say today. Wild, contentious mothers. Contentious arguing with the husband, raising your voices, splitting, disappearing, little mystery, 2 or 3 hour trips. Those kind of moms unknowingly create daughters that are silently begging for structure. We learn structure from our parents. How to get up, how to go to bed, when to turn the lights out, lock the doors. We learn routine from our parents. If we don't have that, or that is not modeled for us, we crave it and we want it somewhere else. So daughters who watch their mothers argue with dads, and the ones that disappear for a couple hours, and we know what they're disappearing to. Those mothers are not doing their children anything good. And what happens is these women, girls, end up joining organizations or religions that create structure. They obsessively go to the gym. They obsessively go to church. They obsessively throw themselves into things. And it's all unconscious. And it started with a contentious mother. Gentlemen, I would like to tell you this: don't pay for something that has been given away for free in the past. Never, ever have to work for anything when it comes to relationships. People say relationships are work. Only in the sense that, like, the work might be biting your tongue. The work would be something like leaving out snide remarks or giving good remarks when you don't usually do it, or when it's not expected. There's a lot of work that goes into relationships. Now, the kind of work you shouldn't need to do is recovering from cheating. If someone cheats, it's over with. You can't wave the magic Jesus wand over adultery and make it go away. Can't do it. Especially if you're a man. If your woman cheats, you don't take that back. You don't take it back. Sorry. But here's what I'm talking about when it comes to paying for something that's been given away for free in the past. Men, if a woman makes you work for something, makes you pay for something, jump through hoops for something, 9 times out of 10, she gave that away for free in the past to someone else, to the alpha male, to the man she really wanted. But now she's making you work for it. Something's a little bit off there. Do you want to set a precedent in the relationship where you have to earn everything? You don't. It's a hell of a place to live. And then, it's the ice maker in the refrigerator. It's a hell of a place to live to have to earn everything. Or when it comes to sex, you don't earn anything. Sex is not a reward. Because if sex is a reward for you, guess what it will also be? The punishment. Sex is the prize and the weapon for many people. If you remove that element from the prize weapon scenario, the reward punishment scenario, sex can be enjoyed for the reason it was created for. Number one, to create kids. But if you're beyond having children, sex is very enjoyable. But as I like to tell you men, the highest and best use of your sexual apparatus is to make babies. Not continually have sterile sex. That's not productive. Can you imagine a farmer plowing a field and not putting seed in it? You'd say, well, that's a waste of time then. Exactly. You just answered your own question. Imagine going to a thrift store or a Goodwill shop and the prices were the same as new retail items. You'd think to yourself, I'm not paying full price for used merchandise. No way, right? That's the lesson right there. I used to hang out with a lot of old men, meet for coffee, meet for breakfast. And most of them are dead now. And the only place you find men is in a diner early in the morning, which means you have to get your ass out of bed. You find old men sitting at breakfast counters in diners, and you get to know them. And then when there's enough of them, you get a table and you start talking. And you talk about fishing and cars and life and women and divorce and death. There's a lot of benefit from it. And then they become kind of like the fathers that you never had in real life. That's what my upbringing was like, hanging out with old men. My dad always loved hanging out with old men. Very interesting. Now my dad is towards the end of his life. I'm an old man now, so to speak. Can you imagine living life? Can you imagine being 60 years old and having nothing to teach anyone? What a waste. Even worse, being 80 and having nothing to teach. One of the reasons why I like old men is this. There's no BS, there's no posturing, no one's trying to be cool. No one's puffing their chests out. They are just themselves. So if you want to hear the truth, find an old man. He doesn't care. He has no filter. He's not afraid of hurting your feelings like everyone else in the world. He'll tell you how it was and give you hope for how it can be. Old men rock. I was reading Pat O'Brien's Your Portable Empire. Great book, by the way. He says, Stevie Ray was at the Continental. Delbert was at the Soap Creek Saloon. The Fabulous Thunderbirds were at the Rome Inn. The good music was always in the dives. That's where the action was. Little smoky joints with a hint of danger and romance, and sometimes more than just a hint. I love that line. Isn't that great writing? Only the truth can make a woman blush and more, telling her the truth. I can disguise the word when I write it. I can disguise certain letters in the word with asterisks and little hashtag signs, and you know what it means. But I'll just say the word fuckery. Your fuckery, your manipulation, and your indirectness in life will turn her into the Sahara Desert. You want to dry a woman up? Be indirect. You want to make the fountain flow like a river? Be direct. There's nothing like the no BS life. No fuckery, no manipulation, no weird flirting. Flirting is cool, but I'm talking about the weird stuff. Nothing makes a woman more receptive to you, gentlemen, than truth. Truth opens doors. Truth opens relationships. Truth opens hearts. But when it comes to your insecurities, tell that truth to a trusted friend, never to a girlfriend, never to a wife. Maintain strength. Your wife, your girlfriend, wants to be with a rock. She doesn't want to be the rock. Let's get that straight right now. Happiness is having a woman who has already cultivated a love for quiet, peace, and solitude in her heart. It's already there. She doesn't need background noise. She doesn't need TVs on and radios on. She's a peaceful, quiet woman. She doesn't get insecure when you want to go off to your cozy nook and read, because she's secure in herself. I love entertaining guests, and I love quiet. I can be the life of the party. I can melt into the background, and you won't even know that I'm there. It's a great skill to have if you're a man or a woman, but nothing like the peaceful and quiet nature of a woman like that. A woman like that would be a godsend to a man. Wouldn't it be great if you felt that God sent her to you? I know a lot of guys who went through some pretty crappy divorces, and I've said the angel you married is never the devil that you divorce. We always divorce a different person than we marry, always. It's a fact. So if she tells you she wants to take a break or think about things, you need to activate the exit strategy and make an efficient breakup. This is the part where most men lose their mind and say stupid things and do stupid things. Any police officer will tell you that. So always have the plan ready to execute if shit goes south. You're going to save yourself a lot of emotional trauma and stupidity, or maybe even jail time. And especially for you guys that are always like that far away from being angry. The wall puncher guys, you guys punch walls, punch things, punch the refrigerator, punch the dashboard of the car. And then get drunk or get high. There is a better way, and you know it. And it's available to you at any given moment if you pre-plan your responses. All of those responses to trauma, pain, confusion, breakups are things that you learned. They're maladaptive behaviors that never help you. What are your coping mechanisms? What do you do when crap hits the fan in your life? Do you open up a beer? Pour a drink? Fire up a bowl? Pop a pill? What do you do? Do you swipe through Tinder and find another body to release yourself on? What do you do? Let me suggest this for you as a way to react, no matter who you are. I have surgeons that watch me. I have garbage men that watch me on a regular basis. I'm going to help you now. Pre-plan your exit, pre-plan your escape, and have that plan available. It's, you've heard of the phrase bug out bag, like a bag that you can just grab and run and survive for a week, 72 hours. It's got food, it's got water, it's got shelter, it's got first aid in it. It's got a whistle, a flashlight, survival items. You need an emotional bug out bag. And I want you to inventory it now. For most of you, it's not healthy. Can you imagine if there was a fire in your house, or an emergency, or a natural disaster? You want to get the hell out of the house, right? You don't want to stay in it. Stay in danger. Many people get hurt because of the decisions they don't make, not the decisions they make. For instance, once I got divorced, I hung out near the marital home, about a mile from it. I moved out of the home and went to an apartment, stayed there 9 years. 9 fucking years. I should have left after a year or two and split. Gone away. Started life over. I ended up paying the price for what I didn't do, and that's getting out of Dodge early. I was a lingerer. Huge mistake. Many times you suffer for what you don't do. Have in your exit strategy your emotional bug out bag, everything that you need to survive for a short period of time. I used to teach a course in the psychology of death and dying. And one of the things that I would teach is this. You need to say to yourself, if you are the survivor of a breakup, a divorce, a death. I'm just taking the death studies and bringing it over to relationships. You need to say to yourself out loud, I am alive and I will survive. repeat it. I am alive. I will survive. And if no one's around and you're alone in the house or the garage or the basement, you need to get physical and say, I am alive. I will survive. And say it loud. Say it 10 times. And at the 10th time, you're screaming at the top of your lungs, I am alive. I will survive. Because death is pursuing you. The Grim Reaper is always behind you when you are in a grieving situation. And I want you to live and have life more abundantly. You can do it. I know you can. What is in your emotional bug-out bag? Someone said to me, how can you teach about relationships if you've been divorced? I'm not talking about divorce like I used to. I'm actually talking about marriage. I would love to be married again. It's taken 17 years, but I would love to be married again. And if you've listened to me for a while, for about the past 2 years, I've considered it. And now I really do want to be married again. Let me tell you something. How can you talk so much about walking when all you did for the first 2 years of your life was fall? You know why? Because falling is learning how to walk. No baby all of a sudden one day thinks to itself, you know what? I've had enough of this laying on the floor. I'm going to get up and walk. And just get up and start walking around. Never happens that way. He pulls himself up. Takes a couple steps. Falls. That's what life is like. But can you imagine a mother saying, this baby's just not cut out for walking. He falls too much. What does the parent do? Come on, get up. You can do it. You can do it. Then they walk 5 feet and yay! Those of you that are parents, you remember that. And the parents will say, he is going to walk. She is going to walk. They're going to try until they are walking. You don't go and rescue a baby that just keeps falling to its knees or falling down on its butt. You encourage it to get back up. Come on, you can do it. You can do it. Good boy. Now here you are, an adult. You've made some mistakes. You've fallen on your butt to your knees. You've had some dark experiences. You've had some failures. If I'm the only one in your life saying, come on, get up, you can do it, good boy, then so be it. Get up. Get up. You can do it. In 1974, I was 14 years old. I'm walking on the train tracks with my girlfriend. I have a rifle over my shoulder, a couple boxes of ammunition in my pocket, and a bag, a grocery bag with tin cans in it. We're walking down the train tracks. There's a cop coming down the train tracks towards us. He rolls down the window and says, where are you going? I said, down to the ravine, sir. I'm going to do some target shooting. He says, you any good? I said, I'm getting better. He says, okay, have fun, be safe. And he kept driving. The world was a different place. Completely different place. Imagine a young man walking on the train tracks today with a rifle. Hands up. Let me see your hands. Don't move. Get on the ground. Right? It's a different world out there. I love him, but I'm not in love with him. Famous phrase from every cheating married woman that's out there. I love him, but I'm not in love with him. You never hear men say, I love her, but I'm not in love with her. It's kind of a female thing, isn't it? I don't know why. For those of you ladies that are watching, explain that to me. If you've ever done it with no condemnation, because you can talk to me anonymously here, that's fine. But why do women say that? Why do women delineate that? Interesting. As if that's valuable information for the man they're cheating with. I don't get that. Most of you are only familiar with aluminum foil, not tin foil. When I grew up, foil was made of tin, not aluminum. Tin foil. Aluminum foil doesn't stop the aliens from talking to you. Oh, foolish ones. Tin foil hats are made of tin foil. Here's a great question. Why aren't you married? It's a valid question and it should be asked more often. Make the question, why aren't you married, great again. And then listen close to the answer. Some of you have had people ask you that question in the past. Do parents even give kids boxing gloves for Christmas or birthdays anymore? Probably not. Or is that too violent for kids? My Lord, we pounded the shit out of each other when we were kids. And still had lunch together. We weren't enemies. We had a fun time. I'm not saying it was like Fight Club. Well, maybe it was like Fight Club, but with boxing gloves on. 1973, I was a skinny boy. I went to the YMCA. We just called it the Y. And I bench pressed 50 pounds. And a very beastly, huge man came over as I was just getting ready to hang up the weight. And he says, "Come on, kid, give me a couple more reps." And he just put his 2 fingers on the bar. And I was like, put it back on the weight rack. He said, "Good job, kid." That meant a lot. It was a man called Earl the Pearl. I don't know why they called him Earl the Pearl. Huge guy. I will never forget that as long as I live. Thank you, Earl the Pearl, for encouraging me to get 2 more reps on the bench that day at 13 years old. You get 2 more reps in, no matter what you're doing in life. 2 more reps. If you're in sales, make 2 more phone calls. If you're asking a woman out, you don't give 2 more phone calls. If she's not responding to you, next. There's no begging. Persistence does not help when it comes to women. You want a woman valuing you for what you are. So if anything, you're showing a woman what you are, not earning her and begging her. There will be no begging. Look at me. Look at me. There will be no begging. I love my old man energy. I love it. You live pedal to the metal, and then you succumb to the rapid onset of age-related conditions. Then you die. You live till you die. You're not supposed to retire, live 7 years, and then fizzle out. It's not supposed to work that way. You live life to its fullest, and then you're gone. That's how life works. This sounds really weird, but I'm jonesing for a clean and press movement. I'm not a huge fan of clean and jerk. I don't like trauma to my bones, my structural system anymore. I just don't like that. In the same way that I don't like running and the pounding. I like a nice, fast, brisk walk, but I can't stand jogging. So I want to start some clean and press movements. I don't know, maybe 3 sets of 10 to begin with. Like that. Strength. Body strength. Rather than just isolating and getting puffy muscles, puffy chest, puffy shoulders, puffy arms. It's the look of strength, but they're like a hollow chocolate Easter bunny. There's no substance there. Do you want to be puffy or do you want to be strong? It's like the guys that just overdo their chest workouts and look like they need a bra. I don't think that's a good look. But that's the only thing you see when you're looking in a mirror, but their back is flat. Build your body, not just isolated little muscles for the puffy look. Strong is always better than puffy. I do not have a blind loyalty to my people. Who are my people? Everyone has a my people. My people could be men. My people could be 60-year-olds. My people could be white, even though I am not white. My people don't have my blind loyalty. Oh, represent, man. No, I'm not representing idiots. I don't represent fools. I don't have blind loyalty to my people. I'm ashamed of how many of my people acted at certain times in history, who they killed. I'm aware of that. Maybe they were dominated and were slaves at one time. I'm interested in how they recovered, not how they suffered. Their strengths and their weaknesses. And sometimes I raise a fist and celebrate my people. Sometimes I shake my head in shame for my people. So watch it with this blind loyalty. No matter what, my people are right. No, they're not. And neither are you. Walk a little bit softer. A little bit quieter. You'll be fine. You are capable of much more than you think you are. You are not limited by a college degree, height, weight, the family you were raised in, the parents that you were given, the city that you live in. You're capable of so much more, but you use all those things that I mentioned as an excuse to not move further in your life. You have. If you're intellectually honest with me, you can do so much more, can't you? The biggest obstacle that you will ever face is you and the limitations that you put on you. It's not about power, intellect, race, gender, or whatever descriptor or ideological group that you want to argue about. Everybody wants to argue these days, their ideologies. It's not about that. What I want you to do is not be the best group you can be. Get rid of groupthink. Stop identifying with groups. Stop it. Stop it. Act like the best character that you can be for 5 to 10 seconds. For some of you, 5 to 10 seconds is hard, but just 5 to 10 seconds. If you do that enough, you become it. You and it become indistinguishable. But the miracle is this, is that people treat you and respond to you as if you are it. And then guess what? You get the rewards of a person who does it. Imagine yourself being a slumpy, hunched over, unconfident person. And I say to you, here's a good example. Sit up for 5 to 10 seconds. You've heard me say this to you in the past. Sit up straight. Suck your stomach in, shoulders back, chest out, head high. Do it. Do it right now. Sit up. Let me model this for you. Sit up. Never lean back on your chair. Sit up. Sit up straight. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, now go back down. Felt good being up here, didn't it? If you stay up here long enough, you get the rewards of people who are up here. You might be slumped, hunched, quiet, fearful, and not confident. But when you do this, you shine bright. You're 2 inches taller. You look better. Your body looks good. Your head is high. You make eye contact with people. And then people respond differently to you. And then you go back down to this. The next day, 20 seconds. The next day, 30 seconds. The next day, a half hour. Hour. Pretty soon, this is your life. You went from this to this, and people are treating you different. You know in the beginning it's only an act, but the people on the outside, if you don't know that you're just acting for a short period of time, and that you're afraid of the height up here, and you're a little wobbly up here, but you start getting the rewards of a person who sits up straight, walks 25% faster, makes eye contact with people, says good morning, good afternoon, good evening, thank you, you're welcome, not no worries, not no problem, it's thank you, or my pleasure. And all of a sudden you're surrounded with a higher caliber of people who are saying, I want to be like him. It's a great place to live and a great state to be in. And with that, finish your coffee, and I'll see you tomorrow on the Daybreak Show, your home of sanity, clarity, and reason.
Yeah. You know what? I respect country music. I'm not one of those people who are like, ugh, country music. There's a lot of people like that.
Yeah.
I respect it. I don't listen to it, but I respect it.
Yeah. Speaking of music, what would you say are your favorite bands?
I have so many. They always change, too. That's the thing.
Yeah.
I like old school, like Metallica a lot.
Yeah.
Iron
Metallica
Maiden.
is old school?
Well, I mean,
I'm just asking.
Yes.
I mean, for me, old school is Led Zeppelin.
It's like a class. Well, for me, yeah, it's like a classic metal type of stuff. Because their first album was like, I'm thinking in the 80s or something.
That was a great album.
That was favorite bands of all time. It's probably Iron Maiden. I don't know. Did you ever hear Iron Maiden before?
Sure have, of course.
I have the very first album with Bruce Dickinson, because there was a person before the lead singer. I have the first album with Bruce Dickinson. Zotos.
So, man, remember going there?
Yep.
We ate a lot of meals at that diner, didn't we?
I would always get the shrimp in the basket. That's what I would always get.
Anna would always get. What'd she always get?
Chicken tenders, probably.
Chicken. Yeah.